Welcome back friends. Today we are going to study about torsional vibration or total study about the torsional vibration. In this lecture we are going to study about the torsional vibration with two rotor system and three rotor system. So first let us start what is the torsional vibration. As we studied, when a shaft rotates from equilibrium position to external position and release, the particles of the shaft of disc move in a circle above the axis of the shaft. The ensuing vibrations are called as torsional vibration. In the simple definition, if we are twist this shaft and then release that and then release the shaft, then the which is produced or which is the vibrating effect produced in the shaft or in the disc of particles is called as the torsional vibration. Now what is the torsional stiffness of the shaft? When you are going to twist the shaft, then the capacity of absorbing the twisting energy or strain energy in this shaft is called as the torsional stiffness of shaft, or you can say the torque required per unit angular displacement of the shaft is called as torsional stiffness. Right? How you can say the capacity of required torsional stiffness, sorry, if the capacity of required to absorb the torsional uh, strain and torsional strain energy is called as stiffness. Suppose a shaft, this is a shaft, right? Now I am going to twist this shaft. Suppose this is a shaft, right? Now what I would do? I am going to twist this shaft in clockwise direction. Then what happens? The twisting is going to generate in the shaft. But when? When you are going to apply a torque, when you are going to apply a torque, then the resisting force is or resisting force or resisting twisting moment is oppose this torque to twist the shaft. The total amount of resisting force is, suppose, twisting moment T, right? If the resisting force is T, then the amount of this kind of torque, the amount of torque is must have to apply to twist the shaft. So the amount of resisting force from the torque is absorbed by the shaft, and after that the shaft is going to start the twist. So the capacity of this shaft to absorb the torque is called as torsional stiffness, or you can say the torque which is required to unit angular displacement of the shaft is called as torsional stiffness of shaft. Right? Now next, the Q is the torsional stiffness is equal to T upon theta, where T is the twisting stiffness is equal to Cj by L, which is in Newton into meter per radian. The T is the torsion, is angular displacement in radian, and C is the modulus of rigidity, where J is the polar moment of inertia, where J is the pi by 32 into d raised to 4 for shaft. Right? Next, torsional difference between rectilinear and torsional vibration, where in rectilinear vibration, in longitudinal and transverse vibration, restoring force brings the body to equilibrium, whereas in torsional vibration, restoring torque brings the body into equilibrium. Restoring force is directly proportional to the linear displacement of the mass from its equilibrium position, whereas restoring torque is directly proportional to the angular displacement to the mass from its equilibrium position. Next, mention the expression for natural frequency of free torsional vibration without considering the effect of inertia of the constraint. are considering the effect of inertia of constraint, right? So we have to derivate the equation of expression of natural frequency for torsional vibration. So first, the natural frequency of free torsional vibration without considering the effect of inertia of the constraint, we can get Fn is equal to 1 upon T is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root Q by L, right? When natural frequency of the free torsional vibration considering the effect of inertia of the constraint, we can get Fn is equal to 1 upon T equal to 1 upon 2 pi into under root Q by under root L plus Lc by 3, right? Where Lc is the mass moment of inertia of constraint. Now, we have to define the node and antinode in torsional equivalent sum, right? When the point of action where the amplitude is zero is called as the node, and when the amplitude is maximum is known as antinode, right? Means the vibration which is produced in the shaft at that the whose amplitude of vibration is zero, where the vibration which is produced or amplitude which is measured as zero of vibration is known as node, and where the at where point the amplitude of vibration is maximum is known as antinode. The torsionally equivalent shaft is the torsional stiffness is same as actual shaft, right? When the torsional vibration is produced, or you can say the external torque is which is applied to the shaft, then the torsional equivalent shaft torsional stiffness is same as the actual shaft is known as the torsionally equivalent shaft, right? So the equivalent length is denoted as L1 plus L2 into D1 by D2 raised to 4 plus L3 is to D1 by D3 raised to 4 up to N. Now, the expression of for the frequency of vibration of two rotor system. So, the natural frequency of vibration of two rotor system is Fna is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root Cj divided by La small La into capital L into A. And for B, F and B is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root Cj divided by Lb into Lb, where A and B are two rotors. In case of torsional vibration, the node of two rotor system will be situated closer to the rotor, having large mass moment of inertia, right? In case of the torsional vibration, the node of two rotor system will be situated closer to the rotor, having large mass moment of inertia. If the node means if the zero vibrational point is situated closer to the rotor, the rotor having large mass moment of inertia. We know that the two rotor system two rotor system Ia into La is equal to Ib into Lb. So we can calculate as La is equal to Ib Lb divided by Ia. In the above expression for La, if Ia is greater than Ib, then La is less than Lb. Hence the result AA and BB are amplitude. Obtain the equation used to determine the position of node in two rotor system, right? The equation which is used to determine the position of node in two rotor system is L is equal to La plus Lb, and La is equal to Ib Lb divided by Ia. Lb is obtained using the above equation, then La is obtaining using first equation. The length of torsionally equivalent shaft is determined as L is equal to L1 into D by D1 raised to 4 plus L2 into D by D2 raised to 4 plus L3 into D by D3 raised to 4 up to N. Now, the condition which is required to replace the gear system by an equivalent system is if the kinetic energy of the equivalent system must be equal to that of the original system, or the strain energy of the equivalent system must be equal to that of the original system, right? If the kinetic energy of the equivalent system is equal to the original system, then you have to require to replace a geared system by an equivalent system, or the strain energy of the equivalent system is equal to the original system, also you have to replace the geared system with an equivalent system. Why? Because if the kinetic energy and strain energy are equal to the original system, then what is the reason to require, or what is the reason to require the geared system? The main reason to having a geared system for the vibrating system is to absorb the more strain energy in the system during the vibration and reduce the torsional vibration, and also the improve the kinetic energy, or you can say they reduce the kinetic energy by absorbing the strain energy from the system. So if the kinetic energy and strain energy are equal to the original system, then it is no need of gear system, right? Or no need of any kind of equivalent system for the vibratory system. So the kinetic energy must be less and strain energy must be more from the by the original system. Now, the condition which is required to replace the gear system is already studied, right? The advantages of a gear system. In order to increase or decrease the speed of this driven shaft, a set of gear system is connected in between driving shaft or driven shaft. Based on the value of gear ratio, the speed of the driven shaft can be varied through the driving shaft rotate at same speed. Right? This is a simple function of the gear system. You can generate variety of the speed having a constant speed of driving shaft, right? If you want to do variety of the speed at driven shaft, then you have to use the gear system by applying the constant driving shaft speed, right? This is the example of torsionally equivalent shaft, where number of shaft which are having different diameters but having the equivalent diameter is here, right? The first, in the first figure there are different kind of four diameter head shaft is connect with each other and having the equivalent diameter is DE and the length is equal to L. So you can get the equivalent length is the L1 plus L2 into D1 by D2 raised to 4 plus L3 D1 by D3 raised to 4 plus L4 D1 by D4 raised to 4. From this equation, you can find the equivalent length and also you can find the equivalent diameter of the shaft. The differential equation for motion for spring controls simple pendulum, right? The spring force Fs which is produced on the pendulum is minus k into theta, where a theta is expansion in the spring. Means expansion means the displacement which is produced due to the force obtained by the pendulum. Accelerating torque which is produced on the spring is IO into d raised to theta d square theta by dt square. Restoring torque which is restored by the spring as a strain energy is minus mg theta l plus ka theta a, and equating the two equation you can find io d square theta by dt square is equal to minus mg theta l plus ka theta a, and you can solve this equation. You can find the IU is equal to ml square. So theta double dot plus mgl minus ka square divided by ml square theta is equal to 0. Hence you can find the circular natural frequency omega n square is equal to mgl minus ka square divided by ml square. Now, so if you want to solve an example, you can find I am going to teach you how you can solve the example. We are not going to see the whole solution of the example, but we are going to study about the equation which are used to solve the equation, solve the example. Suppose you have given the shaft freely supported Also, you have given shaft diameter is 0.025 meter. Length of shaft is given as 0.7 meter. Load at midpoint is 1 kg. Density of shaft material is 40,000 kg per meter cube. Young modulus is 210 into 10 raised to 9 meter square. So we have to find whirling speed of the shaft, right? So first you have to find the inertia of circular shaft. I is equal to pi by 64 d square, where d is given, so you can find the inertia of circular shaft, right? Moment of inertia for the rectangular beam, which is given, I is equal to bd cube by 12. Also simply supported beam, we have given a simply supported beam, right, with point of load static deflection. Delta is given, delta is solved by the equation of W into a square b square by 3EIL. For simply supported beam with uniformly distributed load, static deflection is determined as delta S is equal to 5WL raised to 4 divided by 384 EI, right? These equations, this deflection equation is studied or discussed in our previous lecture. Dunkel's formula for the natural frequency of transverse vibrations for the beam, Fn is denoted as 0.4985 divided by delta under root delta 1 plus delta S. So from the Dunkel's formula you can find the frequency of sub, right? So if you solve the frequency of the shaft, right, from the Dunkeley formula, you can find the frequency of the natural frequency of the shaft, and from the natural frequency, you can find the circular angular velocity of the shaft, right? Angular velocity omega you can find with the help of natural frequency. After that, you have to find you have to apply the equation of omega n. You can find the whirling speed of shaft. Now the same second example, steel bar dimension is given as 2.5 centimeter wide, 5 centimeter deep, freely supported at 1 meter apart. Mass at midpoint M is equal to 200 kg. Weight of the bar is negligible, where a Young modulus E is given as 27 into 10 raised to 10 Newton per meter square. You have to find the frequency of natural transverse vibration. Also, you have to find the frequency of vibration if addition mass 200 kg is distributed uniformly along the length of the shaft. First step is we have to find the moment of inertia of rectangular beam, right? Whenever you going to solve an example, the first step is to find the moment of inertia if the vibration is produced is transverse vibration or transitional vibration, right? If the transverse vibration is produced on the shaft or beam, then you have to find the moment of inertia is your first step. If the uh, rectangular vibration is produced or rectangular vibration is produced or reciprocating vibration is produced, so first you have to find the displacement done by the spring and what is the acceleration is produced on the spring, right? If the torsional vibration is produced, then the first step is to find the twisting moment, or you have to find the polar moment of inertia of beam or shaft. So here in this example, the transverse vibration is produced. So we have to find the moment of inertia for rectangular beam as the equation of I is equal to BD cube by 12. For simply supported beam with point load static deflection, delta is given by W A square B square divided by 3IL. And same, the for simply supported beam with uniformly distributed load static deflection is given as delta S is equal to 5WL raised to 4 divided by 384 EL. As same, Dunkel's formula for the natural frequency of transverse vibration for beams, we can find the natural frequency is 0.4985 divided by under root delta 1 plus delta S. After solving the static deflection for point load and uniform distributed load delta and delta S, you have to apply the value of delta and delta S in the natural frequency equation of Dunkel's formula. You can find the natural frequency of transverse vibration, right? is 20.66 hertz, and frequency of vibration if addition of 200 kg is distributed uniformly along the length of shaft, you can find the natural frequency is 16.20 hertz, right? In the second condition, which is given as frequency of vibration if addition mass of 200 kg is distributed, right? So this mass we have to calculate it as simply supported beam with uniformly distributed load static deflection, right? Delta S, the load which is given 200 kg is uniformly distributed, is taken or is calculated for the delta S, right? Now same another one example is the spring upper and fixed, mass attached to the lower and mass is given as 5 kg. Natural period time is given as 0.45 second. So natural, so to find the natural period if both end of spring are fixed and mass is given as 2.5 kg acts at midpoint. Okay. So you have given a time period t is equal to 0.45 seconds. So you have to find first is natural frequency. The natural frequency is calculated as 1 upon t, right? And also you have to find the circular frequency omega n is with the equation of omega n upon 2 pi is equal to fn. You can find the omega n is equal to 13.96 radian per second, and stiffness of the spring is also calculated with the help of equation of omega n is equal to under root k by m, where omega n calculated with the help of natural frequency, m mass is given as 5 kg, and so we can find the k stiffness is 974.4 newton per meter. The equivalent stiffness is 1 upon k is equal to 1 upon k1 plus 1 upon k1. Why? Because the both spring which is fixed at both hand are same, having same stiffness, so we can find, we can get the k1 is equal to twice k. K1 is equal to twice K. When the spring are in parallel, then K equivalent is K1 plus K1, so is equal to 4K. Equivalent stiffness is 4 times of stiffness of spring. So we can find the equivalent stiffness is 3897.6 Newton per meter, and omega n is given as 39.48 radian per second. So we can find the natural frequency is 6.28 hertz with the help of equation of omega n upon 2 pi. Next example is for same vibrating system is given, right? Also damping factor is also given, so you can find the damping factor zeta is equal to c by cc. You can solve the circular frequency of the damp vibration omega is equal to with the help of equation of omega n into under root 1 of minus zeta square logarithmic with the help of logarithmic decrement. You can find the ratio of successive amplitude, and with the help of omega n you can find the natural frequency of damp vibration. Now in next example we are going to study about the rotor system. In our next example we are going to study about the rotor system. This is the example which is on the base of rotor system. Natural frequency of single rotor system, where the single rotor system natural frequency is given as 5 hertz. The diameter of steel rod is given as 0.02 meter. Inertia of mass fixed at free end inertia I is equal to 0.0098 kg per meter square. Modulus of rigidity is given as 0.85 to 10 raised to 11 Newton per meter square. So here in the vibrations, first step is we have to find the mass of moment of inertia, which is already given. So we had skip it. Now the vibration which is produced is torsional vibration. So we have to find the polar moment of inertia J, which is solved by the equation of J is equal to pi by 32 into d raised to 4. Now we have to find the natural frequency considering the inertia of the constraint. The Fn is equal to 1 upon 2 pi into under root q upon under root I plus IC by 3. Right? This is the equation which is first single rotor system. Now, if the frequency neglecting inertia of the constraint, we can find with the equation of Fn is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root q upon I, where the value of q is put in the equation is Cj by L. So we can find the natural frequency Fn is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root Cj by I L, right? Where the value of C is given, or value of J, polar moment of inertia, is can be derived as pi by 32 d raised to 4. I, inertia of moment, is also given, and L is the length of road, which is given as 1.32 mm, right? So with this equation we can find the natural frequency Fn and solve the example. If we have two rotor system for the torsional vibration, so how can we find the natural frequency? So first we have to take the different kind of length of rotor or different kind of length of shaft is 0 to 0.6, 0.6 to 1.1, 1.1 to 1.5 meter, and diameter is given as different kind of diameter, right? So there are three shaft is used, three length shaft is given, the diameter, three different type of diameter is also given, the mass of different diameter is given, radius of gyration is also given. So we have to find the location of node, natural frequency of torsional vibration, right? So two different kind of parameter we have to find or we have to solve. First is location of node, means at which point the produced vibration is zero, or you can say the produced amplitude of vibration is zero. We have to find that location, and also we have to find the natural frequency of torsional vibration. So first, which is given modulus of rigidity, we have to assume 80 into 10 raised to 9 Newton per meter square. If the modulus of rigidity is not given, so you have to assume. But if the modulus of rigidity is already given in the example, so you have to take that value. Now the equivalent length you have to find with the help of equation L1 plus L2 into d1 by d2 raised to 4 plus L3 into d1 by d3 raised to 4. This equation has already discussed in earlier in this lecture. So equivalent length is derived as 8.97 meter. You have to solve the different moment of inertia IA and IB, where IA is equal to MA into K square and IB is MB into KB square, which is solved as putting the value of mass and stiffness of the spring, or you can say the torsional stiffness of the shaft, right? Now the value of LA plus LB is the equivalent length, right? Now you have to find the polar moment of inertia, which is given as J is equal to pi by 32 d raised to 4 after deriving the equivalent diameter, right? Which is solved with the help of actual length is equal to L1 plus LA minus L1 into d2 by d1 raised to 4 is 0.855 meter. The natural frequency Fn is derived as Fn A is equal to Fn B is equal to 3.37 Hertz with the help of equation Fn is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root q by I. Right? So this is a two rotor system in which we can find the natural frequency, and we have to find the mode of location of node at where the amplitude of vibration will be zero, right? At the center, how can you find the mode? So actual shaft length is given as 0.855 meter, right? LA and LB, both length is you can find LA is 2.2 meter and LB is 6.77 meter. Equivalent length is 8.97 meter. So from the joint, the actual length of shaft is 0.855 meter. Means the away from the joint, you can find the node point of sub or no, zero amplitude of vibration, right? Now, three rotor system. In this example, you have given the three rotor, right? Three rotor torsional vibration system. You can given the modulus of rigidity. You have given the distance between A and B, distance between B and C, means the distance between each other. So all three rotor is given. IA is also given, means moment of inertia of A, B, C, means three, all three rotors are given. So IA, IB and IC is also given. Diameter of shaft is 0.04, C is 8.5 into 10 raised to 9, L1 is 1.25 meter and L2 is equal to 4 meter. Where in a three rotor system you have to find Fn A is equal to Fn B is equal to Fn C, and same system which is done in the two rotor system is IALA is equal to IBLB is equal to ICLC, where the equivalent length is L1 plus L2 into D1 by D2 raised to 4. So we can find the equivalent length. Same, the if same, we can find the equivalent length, equivalent diameter, and also we have find the natural frequency with the help of equation of under root Cj by Ia into L. Now, if the length, if the Ia is greater than I1 and IC is less than I2, then this in this system you can find a one node, or you can say only at one point the vibration amplitude of vibration is 0. If the value is IC is less than I1 and the value of IC is less than I2, hence in this shaft you can find at 2 point at where the value of, or you can say the amplitude of vibration will be 0. So this is the three rotor system of torsional vibration system. So thank you. Right, this is done for torsional vibration. We had already studied about reciprocating vibration, transverse vibration, and today we had completed our torsional vibration system. Right, we had also studied about the over damping, critical damping and under damping. Also we had studied about the different kind of damping system like viscous damping system, Coulomb damping system and structural damping system, right? Also we had studied about different kind of vibrating terminology, right? So this is our end of free vibration system of one chapter, right? The first chapter of the vibration is free vibrating system, or you can say the free vibration is over here. So thank you.